of 30 yards, but every 15 yards, you're gonna do 6 squats. Farmer's walk 15, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll give you 20 kilo kettlebells, you've got 16 kilo kettlebells. When you finish with that, 36 for your age, it's going to be thrusters. Touch the box, press up the dumbbells. When you've done that, that's it. He ain't going to tire you out. This is you, mate. This is you. You're tired out. Good. Bring him with you. Grab him. Nice. Come on, brother. Yeah, buddy.
DAZN has just released a new training camp series of Terence Crawford in preparation for the Canelo Alvarez fight.
Getting the things that we need to sharpen.
Moving up in weight, how does your body feel? Because people on social media, they're like, oh, look at Bud's shoulders, blah, blah, blah.
I feel good. That 7 pounds is gonna help. You know, a young guy struggling and focus on losing weight. Still gonna have to lose weight, but that 7 pounds gonna benefit me in the long run.
It featured some of his best exercises and training routines. It was a clip that compiled his best shadow boxing exercises, his speed punches on punching bags, and his strength and conditioning exercises. Another highlight of the video was some insight into Terence Crawford's diet and nutrition. It showed his meals and how he has been working on regulating his new weight and losing the necessary weight ahead of fight night.
How do you feel about this pre-camp, bud? Leading up to real camp.
I feel good. I feel strong. I'm already in shape. Now when we go back to Colorado, it's just turning it up another level and getting the things that we need to sharpen.
Moving up in weight, how does your body feel?
Despite the concerns regarding him taking the same level of power and speed into the new weight class, despite the 14-pound weight difference between his previous weight and the weight he'll have to meet up with to fight Canelo Alvarez, and having dealt with the weight issue, Crawford has now begun training for Canelo Alvarez with such mind-blowing intensity that he's never been shown before. He's hitting punching bags violently, hitting the mitts, going on marathons for athleticism and endurance, doing bodybuilding exercises, shadow boxing, working on his footwork and other aspects of his boxing. Most importantly, he has begun sparring with much bigger fighters. For now, Crawford is preparing for the September fight, and it seems that his trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre has found the ideal sparring partner for the Nebraska native to get ready for the important challenge he will face in moving up from 154 to 168 pounds against the Mexican. A reputable news source indicates that the training partner chosen to help Crawford is Guatemalan Lester Martinez, a super middleweight contender who just took Joshin James's unbeaten record with a fourth-round knockout victory. When asked if Martinez would be a good sparring partner for Crawford ahead of the fight against Canelo, Bomac replied, "And we will definitely use him as sparring." Before the September fight against Saul Alvarez was announced, the biggest challenge in Crawford's career was his fight against Errol Spence Jr. in 2023, in which Bud won. Boxing Scene asked Bomac if the fight against Canelo was an even bigger challenge for Crawford, to which he replied without hesitation, "Oh yeah, just look at the level of accomplishments." The rivalry is so important that if the two-division undisputed champion were to defeat the Mexican, he could retire from boxing on a high. Of course it could. It probably could be the last one. It probably could. Yes, it probably could, said the coach. Terence Crawford's camp believes his secret weapon poses a unique challenge for Canelo Alvarez. As the two prepare for a high-stakes showdown, Crawford's unorthodox style could prove pivotal. As anticipation builds for the September 12th showdown in Las Vegas, Terence Crawford's inner circle believes the undefeated fighter represents a challenge that Canelo Alvarez has yet to solve in his long and decorated career. According to Bernie "Thaw" Boxer Davis, a close associate of Crawford, no sparring partner or training camp can truly simulate what Crawford brings to the ring. Davis argues that Crawford's adaptability and high boxing IQ present an unsolvable puzzle and secret weapon for the Mexican superstar.
To see them guys perform.
September 12th, it is official. Canelo and Crawford at Allegiant Stadium. Give me your first reaction to that getting announced.
Super excited, super excited. Like I say, a lot of people are saying about Crawford's age, but no boxing, no life, as Canelo would say. And Crawford still, in age, but he ain't took no punishment. He's cautious. He works hard throughout these years, so of course you're gonna.
Nobody fights like Crawford, he emphasized in a recent interview with Mill City Boxing, suggesting that Canelo will struggle to prepare for a fighter with such fluid style switching and tactical unpredictability. While some expect Crawford to adopt a strategy similar to Floyd Mayweather's, elusive movement, defensive precision, and calculated counters, there's a growing sentiment that Bud might do far more than just survive Canelo's power. Nevertheless, some analysts believe that excessive stance switching may prove ineffective against a seasoned veteran like Canelo, who is not easily thrown off by such tactics. Canelo's reduced output in recent bouts has not prevented him from winning rounds through clean, heavy shots that command the judge's attention.
You gotta count that in the factor, but in his heart and his mind and his spirit, he's still youthful about boxing. He loves boxing, and this is one way to get him up. He's a challenge guy. He loves a challenge, and Canelo is the biggest challenge you can get. We got to go up 2 weight classes, really 3 weight classes to get a guy like that. Hardest puncher, great counter puncher, tons of experience, undisputed champion, unified champion, a couple of divisions champion, and so we didn't get the Pacquiao or the Mayweather, but we getting Canelo, and nothing comes easy.
While Crawford's resume at 154 pounds is unquestioned, this jump to 168 pounds introduces major uncertainties. Unlike other fighters who gradually acclimate to a new weight class, Crawford has opted to leap directly into a championship bout without a tune-up. Meanwhile, Canelo's most recent opponent, William Skull, was a larger, younger, and arguably more explosive fighter. Yet Canelo handled him with relative ease, controlling the pace and neutralizing his offense. That performance, according to Davis, proves that Canelo's timing and experience remain potent. He looked sharp. The man lives in the gym. His skills are still elite.
Fight or whatever like that.
The one thing about Crawford is he got guts. Them bums ain't have no guts. Them bums didn't want to win. Crawford want to win. That's it. It ain't about no belt. It ain't about nothing. You didn't sign the contract. We want to win, and he want to be the best, and he is the best. So that's what's going to be the difference. You know, Crawford got guts. He got a fighting spirit. So when you see Crawford, he going to go in there and get busy with Canelo. Don't you even doubt that. You understand? You ain't never seen Crawford stay on the back foot in no fight in his life. You understand? He the type of guy to go get you. So expect him to go get him. We going to do everything we can to him. We going to do whatever we got to do. But one thing you can expect is Crawford.
Davis is confident that Crawford can replicate or even surpass his demolition of Errol Spence Jr., an opponent he dominated in a lopsided fashion. Crawford is going to make Canelo look like sludge, Davis predicted, asserting that the Mexican champion won't be able to find the proper sparring to simulate Crawford's style. Ultimately, this fight is more than just a stylistic clash. It's a litmus test for Crawford's greatness across weight classes and a critical opportunity for Canelo to silence critics who suggest his prime has passed. While Davis and Team Crawford are brimming with confidence, the physical demands of moving up and the legacy of Canelo's experience pose real threats.
Everything we can to him. We're going to do whatever we got to do. But one thing you can expect is Crawford is going to step to him. Because you can't beat Canelo going on the back foot forever. You got to go get him. You got to do something. And he better know Crawford is coming.
And when he gets on the inside with Canelo, do you feel he's got the power to hurt and stop him?
Definitely got the power, and he got the speed to counter punch, to his defense, to catch punches, to counter punches, and to let his hands go. Crawford got the speed and to
huge against Madrimov, the beast. Wow, the beast. I truly feel that Virgil now is on a different level.
Final one from me. What did you say to Eddie Hearn in the aftermath of that win tonight?
No, good, just, good fight. That's it. I mean, I think I'm 0-20 now, so, or no, Eddie's 0-20. I think he's 0-4 or 5 with me, so it's okay. We're just chipping away. We're gonna have losses too. We're gonna have wins too, but I think tonight.
Alvarez's only 2 career losses have come against Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol, and Mayweather's former manager, Jay Prince, thinks Crawford will add another defeat to Alvarez's record. The fight is expected to take place at super middleweight, meaning Crawford will need to jump up 2 weight classes, as his last fight was at 154 pounds.
What's important is that both fighters came out good. Everything's good. Virgil won. Great fights. Great night for boxing.
This is the final one. You spoke to me the other day. You said that Virgil's first fight, he said to Jerry Jones, he's going to sell it out.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a reality?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Terence Crawford has never shied away from a challenge, and now it looks like his next one could be the biggest of his career. Literally. Talks are heating up for a September showdown against Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. A fight that would pit 2 pound-for-pound greats against each other in a battle that could define the era.
Okay. Hey, John, I don't have much time left with you, so I appreciate the time that I've gotten with you. I'm curious to get your insight on a fight coming up between Terence Crawford and Canelo in September. Crawford's moving up a few weight classes to meet Canelo. Just your insight. How does Crawford cross that bridge? How does he nullify the weight difference and get a win against Canelo?
American let his hands go, showing off his variety of skills, including a crisp jab and some sharp combinations. Noticeably in the footage, Crawford's physique looked bulkier, a clear sign he is already in the process of making the fighting weight. And the boxing fraternity have been left with differing opinions on his current condition. One wrote, "Sharp as hell. He went up in weight, gained more power, and maintained his speed." Another agreed, "He's looking good. Looks like he's going to try and outbox Canelo. He can certainly win the fight that way." One even added, Crawford looks super sharp and smooth as usual. He's going to get the win. Canelo is slower. Others weren't so convinced, with some suggesting, looks to have lost his speed, looks slower, this could be bad. A user concurred, adding, looks slow, old and nearly 40, Canelo will retire him. And a final fan concluded, I'm not counting him out, but he looks slow in this, just how Crawford will look come fight night. The American fought at his natural limit of 147 pounds for several years, but is already a 4-weight world champion. But victory over Alvarez could cement his name as a true great, and he has already entered camp with 3 months until the career-defining night. But he has shown he is capable of overcoming challenges, including in his tough world title victory on points over Madrimov last year. Alvarez holds natural size advantages over his rival and will be an expected favorite come fight night. But he too struggled in his last outing, unable to break down William Skull despite becoming undisputed champion again in May. Crawford knows victory will be the best of his time in the professional ranks and the biggest statement imaginable, and he believes there are some of his own advantages that will help him beat the Mexican. Man, we're gonna see come fight time what my advantage is, he said. I'm the type of guy who likes to feel my fighters out and adjust to what they're doing. I think that's my greatest attribute, to be able to figure out every opponent I've faced thus far. I'm looking to do the same come fight time when the Canelo fight happens. I'm gonna feel great at 168 pounds. I don't need to worry about the weight. I know I'm going to feel great. Undisputed champion Terence Crawford faces the biggest test of his career as he gears up to take on 2-time undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez on September 13th in Las Vegas. But before stepping into the ring, the 37-year-old found himself caught up in a very different kind of battle. By the way, the weight difference is never an issue for Terence Bud Crawford, as Shakur Stevenson had earlier revealed how fierce Bud Crawford was, even against heavyweights. Regardless, several members of the boxing fraternity believe super middleweight would be a step too far for the former undisputed super lightweight and welterweight king.
This story, I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. I was in the gym. I wanted to say I was getting ready for Chris Diaz or something, and he was sparring like a heavyweight fighter. I'm looking, I'm type nervous for him. I'm like, why is he in the ring with this big old dude? And man, I swear he done caught this dude on the shin. Boom.
But World Boxing Council lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson insists Bud is more than capable of carrying his devastating knockout power up through the weights after witnessing him wobble a heavyweight in sparring. Honestly, I think that Bud beats anybody who he gets in the ring with, even at a higher weight class, he told E! News. I think he's got all the tools and ability to beat anybody and everybody. He's got punching power, boxing IQ, boxing skills, and footwork. There's nothing he can't do in the ring, so I think he'd be a hard task for anybody. Another thing, his punching power translates to another weight class.
Wobbling all around the ring, I'm like, what the f***? How is this dude this strong? But it's like, honestly, Bud is very strong. A lot of people don't realize how strong he is as a fighter, and his punching.
He then continued, I've been in the gym and seen him hurt a heavyweight, a 200-pound plus dude. He hurt him and he was in there with wobbly legs. I was like, damn, this guy can punch that hard. With his eyes set firmly on a fight against Saul Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight in September, Bud made the first tentative step towards the division by moving up to 154 pounds and challenging undefeated 10-0 champion Israel Madrimov. The former 2-weight world champion, Andre Ward, has voiced his opinion on the potential super fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford.
We just talking about him. Who's the most skilled fighter today? Bud?
Bud is definitely one of them, for sure. Tyke Shakur, Devin, Boots.
Boots,
Jerron,
my favorite.
It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them, and they're skillful in different ways. You know what I'm saying? But somebody that, like, I could bet the house on is Bud. Because me and him...
Bud has been targeting Canelo ever since he put in a career-defining performance in 2023 against welterweight rival Errol Spence Jr. Although the Mexican originally dismissed the fight, he recently admitted he would be prepared to defend his super middleweight titles against the naturally smaller man if the money was right. Speaking on the All the Smoke podcast, Ward, who retired with a perfect record of 32 wins from 32 fights, named the 2 matchups he wants to see most in boxing, while claiming Terence Crawford is unbeatable by Israel Madrimov or anyone else. I want to see Canelo fighting Terence Crawford or David Benavidez. You have 2 options. You can go to somebody in your weight class, or you can try and pick on the smaller guy, Terence Crawford. On the potential Crawford-Canelo clash, his money would be on the man who last fought at 3 weight classes.
Me and him, we so much alike in our mentality. Like soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball, wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you gotta really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So skillful, yes, but this and this, it's different, man.
I'm not betting against Terence right now against anybody, not doing it. Talking about the most skilled fighters in the game today, Ward says Crawford is someone you can bet your house on. Somebody I can bet the house on is Bud. Me and him are so much alike in our mentality. He's skillful, yes, but his heart and mind are different. There's not a lot of guys like that out there currently. There's a lot of guys that talk it, but until you get in that real fight, I'm not saying a guy you should beat. I'm saying a guy that is a 50-50th matchup, then we don't really know what you have. He's different, he's a dog. That's the stuff that gets me out of my seat. It means that when you need to be that guy, you can be that guy. This showed exactly why Terence Crawford is a great of the sport of boxing. Even from a young age, he's been used to sparring world champions, as Timothy Bradley had so much praises for him after sparring him many years ago.
There's not a lot of guys like that out there currently. There's a lot of guys that talk it. But until you get in that real fire, I'm not saying a guy, you fighting a guy you should beat. I'm saying a guy that it's a 50-50 matchup. We don't really know what you have. You don't even really know what you have. And I've seen Bud tested. I've seen Bud tested outside the ring, things that they said about him, how they treated him, narratives that were put everywhere about him, and I seen him.
On what stood out to him the most about Crawford when he used him as a sparring partner in training camp, Terence was, at that time, and this was a long time ago, he's a much better fighter now than he was when I was sparring him. But at that time, it was just his timing. It was the fact that he was able to adapt. And the thing that surprised me about him is that I was a world champion, and you get into a firefight with most guys in the gym, they back down. They understand that you are a champion, and so they'll kind of back off a bit and let you beat on him. He didn't. He was like, nah.
Fight through it. I seen him push through it. I seen him navigate. I seen him, like, Bud is a business. He's a business, but he's a businessman. And Bud just don't talk about a lot of his stuff. So now everybody love him. But Bud been that guy. Bud has been marketable. Bud has been a great fighter. Bud, people questioning his resume. Anybody they put him in there with, he handled him and did what he was supposed to do. He wasn't ducking no.
So when my game would rise, his game would rise. And I'm like, okay, let me step it up a little bit more. And then he'll rise, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go all out now. And he'll meet me. He just kept meeting me, man. And I'm like, holy crap, this kid is different. And then the skills on top of that, I found out he was a right-hander instead of a southpaw, and he fought so comfortably out of a southpaw stance. So those were surprising things for me. And just that grit, determination, and his ability to make adjustments on the fly. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.